Welcome to Travel with Sean. I'm Sean, and today we're touring the ancient city of Epidaurus, which goes back at least to the 6th century BC. After we finish exploring downtown, all their main buildings, we're going to go look at their theater. It is the best preserved ancient theater in Greece. Let's get started with our tour.
The story of Epidaurus begins in ancient legend. According to myth, it was the birthplace of Asclepius, the god of healing. His mother Coronis gave birth to him on the slopes of nearby Mount Tithon, then entrusted him to the wise centaur Chiron, who taught him the secrets of medicine. Although the sanctuary likely has roots in the Bronze Age Mycenaean era, it was in the 6th century BC that Epidaurus began to flourish as a center of healing under Asclepius's patronage. By the 4th century BC, it had become a pan-Hellenic sanctuary, drawing worshippers from all across the Greek world. Pilgrims seeking relief from illness or injury took part in rituals that included purification, offerings at the altar, and incubation, sleeping within the sanctuary in hopes of receiving a healing vision from Asclepius. This was the guest house, called the Katagogion, built in the 4th century BC for pilgrims and visitors. It had 4 sections with 4 rooms each, basically ancient VIP lodging. For travelers 2,300 years ago, this would have been about as good as it got. Private rooms, nice layout, and a prime spot next to the sanctuary. Today, only the foundations remain, but you can still imagine how impressive it must have looked. For visitors coming to seek healing, staying here would have been part of the sacred experience. Here's an aerial view of the Katagogion for perspective. This fountain served the Hestiatorion, the banquet hall of the sanctuary. Built in the 4th century BC, this is where pilgrims and patients could share ritual meals as part of the healing process. Communal feasts were an important part of Greek worship, often following sacrifices. The Hestiatorion complex included not just the dining hall itself, but the Romans later added a small covered theater called an odeum, used for musical performances. The dining hall was a large rectangular building, about 245 by 250 feet, with 4 wings of rooms surrounding it. Behind the colonnaded courtyard were 10 rooms made of stone bases and brick masonry, probably used for preparation, storage, and dining. Some rooms may have held couches based on archaeological finds. The entrance featured a wide ramp leading up to a structure shaped like the Greek letter pi, with doors opening to various wings. Another ramp near another corner led to a fountain, and a smaller entrance allowed carts, possibly carrying food, to enter on yet another side. During the Roman period, the Hestiatorion's role changed. It was converted into a temple dedicated to Hygeia, the goddess of health. Yes, that's where English gets the word hygiene. The western part of the complex was pretty much destroyed during raids, and later alterations erased its original function as a dining hall. In its prime, it was a hub for sacred meals, healing rituals, and music. Inside the banquet hall, we can see a small hill, and on top of it, the Romans added a small music hall called the Odeum. Even after the changes, the annual festivals continued, with the ritual meals and the musical performances still taking place here. If I'm not mistaken, all of this is part of the original Hestiatorion, and just the hill is the Odeum. This building was a hall to honor the Egyptian gods. During the Hellenistic period, from about the 4th century BC to the 2nd century BC, Egyptian religious influence spread into Greece. So while Epidaurus was mainly known for the worship of Asclepius, Egyptian religious ideals and practices had a big impact here during that time. Stone benches line the path in the sanctuary, offering seating for rituals, gatherings, or for rest, reflecting the healing importance of this place. This small building was likely for ritual purification. Just inside, off to our right, we can see a small basin, just a few inches deep. It was used by visitors to wash or purify themselves before the healing rituals. Purification was key for those seeking Asclepius' help, and pilgrims might also have offered water as a sign of devotion, marking the start of their healing journey. Inside the cult building, a long bench with a back and arms dominates the space, offering a sense of comfort and functionality for those taking part in rituals. Positioned closely in front of this bench is a table, likely central to the ceremonies, where offerings or sacred objects might have been placed. The layout suggests a deliberate design to focus attention on the ritual practices. Along this path, benches line the way, offering places for rest and reflection. At the end of the path stands the Temple of Artemis, with steps leading up to its entrance. The altar of Asclepius was a central feature of the sanctuary, deeply integrated into the healing rituals practiced here. It served as a sacred space where worshippers could connect with the god, offering prayers, sacrifices, and rituals in hopes of receiving his divine healing. For those seeking restoration, both spiritual and physical, the altar was an essential part of their journey. The acts of devotion performed here would have played a significant role in facilitating the healing process, as pilgrims sought Asclepius' intervention to ease their ailments. This was a bathhouse, most recently restored in the 2nd century AD, about 1900 years ago. It was used for ritualistic bathing, an important part of the healing process at the sanctuary. Bathing played a key role in the recovery process of patients, offering both physical and spiritual relief. The structure would have complemented the earlier Greek baths built around 300 BC, where visitors underwent purification rituals as part of their treatment. Along the paths, you'll find some stone benches called exedrae. Pilgrims and patients would rest here, reflecting on their experiences, waiting for rituals, or simply observing the sanctuary. The sweeping view of the sanctuary brings us closer to its heart, where the most important structures await: the Abaton and the Tholos. The central location of the Tholos in the sanctuary means it was likely involved in the religious and ritual activities tied to the healing process, reinforcing the sacred atmosphere of the site. The Abaton was a place of rest and spiritual preparation for those seeking healing from Asclepius. The Abaton was a crucial part of the healing process at Epidaurus, serving as a sacred space for those seeking Asclepius's intervention. This is where patients would spend the night in hopes of receiving a healing dream or vision from the god. It was believed that during the night, Asclepius would appear to the sick in their dreams, offering guidance, advice, or even direct healing. The Abaton was a place of quiet solitude, where individuals could connect with the divine and prepare themselves spiritually for their treatment. During Roman times, treatment was more holistic. Diet, exercise, and bathing were given attention to improve the patient's overall health. The Epidaurian festival in honor of Asclepius included athletic contests and games. The builders of the stadium positioned it to conform to the natural landscape within the sanctuary. The stone seating dates from the 4th century BC. The Theater of Epidaurus is considered one of the best preserved ancient theaters in the world. Built around 350 BC, it is renowned for its exceptional acoustics and its architectural design. The theater could originally seat about 14,000 spectators, one of the largest for any Greek theater. Designed by the architect Polykleitos the Younger, the theater's shape and layout were meticulously crafted to enhance the sound and visual experience. Walking up the steps of the theater's seating area, I have to point out that these seats are original, built around 350 BC. They have not been replaced, ever. I'm going to follow my wife up. She's going to sit at the top of the theater and record me so we can see how well one's voice carries. You can see that the seats have plenty of legroom, but no back. These are your average seats. Here at the top of the lower level, you do see that the seats have backs, and some are separate seats. This is the VIP section. These would be seats for the wealthier spectators. Here's my wife sitting in the very top row of the theater. As I pan out, you can get a sense of how high these seats are and how far the top row is from the performers on stage. Its exceptional acoustics allow the voice of a person on stage to be heard clearly by spectators, even those at the highest rows, without the need for a microphone. This remarkable feature was key for the large-scale performances of the time, especially the plays of Sophocles and Euripides. The theater's design also reflects the ancient Greek ideals of harmony and proportion. Its circular orchestra, where the actors performed, is perfectly aligned with the seating, creating an immersive experience for the audience. Standing here on the stage of the Theater of Epidaurus, it's easy to imagine the ancient actors performing before thousands of spectators. The stage was once alive with the powerful words of playwrights like Sophocles and Euripides, whose tragedies still resonate today. This theater was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site partly because it's so well preserved, but also because of its amazing acoustics. You know, some people claim that spectators in the top row can clearly hear any sound on stage, so I wanted to try that out. That's what you see here, me speaking on stage with my normal voice without using a microphone. You saw a little bit ago that my wife is recording me from the top row. Although she could hear me on stage speaking, it didn't pick up so well on her camera. So I tried again, projecting my voice. I think it turned out okay. Why don't you judge for yourself how it turned out?
Thank you for watching. Thank you for traveling along with me. Until next time, bye-bye. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your support. Bye-bye.